Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heoki empath, and I just like doing these little talks and the way I feel about things. And I feel real good right now. I just had a real sweet moment. It was a good moment. It was a light bulb moment, and it went right along with my homie Rick. He's my favorite astrologer. I hope to meet him one day. He's just my favorite. That's all. R.I.K. Rick, and he took last week off, and I'm glad he's back this week. And I was listening to his, and the astrology is such a big deal right now, and one of the things I do here is I encourage people to look at your chart and get to know yourself, and you will find out that you are just being you. And I had a realization this morning just now, and I was just like, and Rick was talking about how you're going to get an answer to something. You're going to get an answer. I'm like, how am I going to get an answer to something? What am I, because sometimes I think I'm a know-it-all, Aries sun, And then I'm reminded, I don't know, I don't really know a whole lot of nothing, really. And I was reminded of that today, and and I had Mom come in because this full moon in Gemini that's happening tomorrow, or the 12th, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, it's all on the 12, 12, 12, 12 at 12, 12. I mean, this is synchronicity. It ain't freaking coincidence. There ain't no such thing. It's anyway. But this full moon in Gemini, I'm looking at charts, or look at my chart and where Gemini is. See, and that's how I relate to other people. So when people tell me they're a Gemini sun, I look at where Gemini is. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, Geminis have these characteristics, and this is how I personally identify and show up in life in these areas where I have Gemini, so I can relate to other people on their chart. That's where I can meet people where they are, because we all have the same aspects. They just don't all show up at the same time. We all have the same emotions, just not all the same people are having them at the same time. So I was I go to this astrocafeastrology.com. I'll put the link down below in the description box so you can look up your own chart. And I was like, okay, well, how's Gemini going to affect? Because I was listening to Rick's astrology report, and he's like, this is where it's going to show up for you. This is where it's going to count. And I have Gemini and Mars, and I have Gemini and Saturn. And for today, for this talk, I'm just going to talk about Gemini and Mars. And I also have it in my South Node. So I start reading this, and I just start tearing up, and I was like, Mom, come in here, listen to this. It's only a couple paragraphs, so I'm not big on reading online, but it's important. So if you have Mars in Gemini, check your chart, see if this rings true to you. Mars is the planet that rules our divine passions, and in the mutable air sign of Gemini, Mars is a little scattered and unfocused, easily bored. Mars and Gemini natives need a fresh change of pace frequently just to keep the energy levels up, and it's somewhat of an odd thing, really. When there's nothing much to do, these natives are exhausted, but if there's plenty of interesting things to do on their agenda, Mars and Gemini natives can be powerhouses. More than most people, these individuals have a physical reaction to boredom. Besides possessing a passion for words, when people in Gemini natives get angry or fired up, they use words as their weapon. Angry words, some of the most incisive and sarcastic ones, can fly around with the more energetic natives. Others simply talk things through energetically. Wherever the case may be, Mars and Gemini natives need to get everything off their chest when fired up. I'm trying to now learn to talk things through energetically and not go to the ego sarcastic place first. I'm trying to come from heart, not ego, first now. In fact, debates are Mars and Gemini specialty. These natives draw on their sharp wit to win arguments. In general, they can be talkative sorts, sometimes bordering on verbal diarrhea. Mom laughed at that part. Those whose charts show more reserve only become chatty when worked up about something or another. Some people with this position of Mars are quite fidgety. As you notice, this is the part that made me cry. When they have so much nervous energy in general. Their nervousness and restlessness are the root of plenty of physical ups and downs. Anyway, when they're on edge, they can be nitpicky. Many Mars and Gemini natives channel their energy through their hands. Gemini, after all, rules the hands, and these people often express their energy through musical instruments and the like, even video games. I used to play Super Mario 3. I'd play it yeah, I love that. I like that one. Nintendo, the OG. Many are attracted to puzzles and games of diversions. These natives are very adaptable, often thriving on change. They often take up many projects at once, spreading themselves thin at times. Sustained interest is not especially common in this position of Mars. Most will benefit from attempting to focus on energies rather than scattering them. That's what all my horoscopes say. If I learn how to do that, then I will go far in life. However, their versatility and disdain for routine generally means Mars and Gemini natives are busy. That's why it's so important for me to keep busy, because my energy, if energy doesn't get used proper, it'll spoil, And I was crying, Mom, because people always said, you're just so, why can't you hold still? Why can't you, do this? Why can't you do that? I'm like, I got more life force energy than you. Why don't you got enough? Why don't you have more? Oh, because you dull your senses with freaking crappy food, booze, and freaking pro sports. So, to each his own. We all have free will. When I started cutting more stuff away from me, I started really dialing into who and what I actually am. And I'm here to try and help people learn about themselves, see, because you can listen to charts all day long, but you got to really know where things are in your chart. And this is another example. When the student is ready, the teacher will be made available, because I look at this chart like 3 times a week, because when I listen to astrology, I look to see where the placements are in my own personal chart. And this whole life is, we're just supposed to learn about ourselves, and the benefit of us learning about ourselves is that we can see we are just like everybody else. We are just a different shade of the same color spectrum. And every now and again, you meet someone in your same shade or your same frequency. I get real excited about that. I don't meet a whole lot of people super in alignment with me. Some here and there. I can have a conversation with anyone. I can find more commonalities than differences in anyone. I'm looking for my same freak tribe. It's in my astrology. It's so wonderful to get to know you, and just, I was just like crying, Mom. She's like, I'm like, Mom, I'm just being me. And then I gotta remember, when I go out and I meet people that aren't acting, how I think they should be acting, because for whatever reason, I gotta remember they're just being them too. So, anyway, hope you all have a rad day. Peace.